Okay. My name is Omofala Mustafa Adekoya. I'm a student of Grand Canyon University, where I study cybersecurity. Today, we're going to be talking about the difference between data at rest, data in use, and data in transit. I would also be explaining on how to secure the data. Also, we'll be discussing the strategy changes when data is in use, when data is in transit, and when data is at rest. But before we delve into these discussions, it is important to know the meaning of data itself, so as to give us a basic understanding before we delve into these discussions. Permit me to share my screen. Okay, so what is data? Data refers to raw information. In the context of information technology, also known as IT and computing, it is information that a software application collects and records. Data is typically stored in a database and includes the fields, records, and other information that make up a database. Then, what is data flow? Data flow components are classified into three types. We have the sources, the transformations, and the destinations. Sources extract data from data stores, such as relational database, tables and views, files, and analysis services. Transformations are used to change, summarize, and clean up data. Destinations are used to load data into data storage or to generate in-memory data set. Now, back to the discussion. As I said earlier, I'm going to be discussing the difference between data at rest, data in use, and data in transmission. To start with, let's start with data in transit. Data in transit is also known as data in motion. In information, data is actively traveling from one area to another area, such as across the internet or a private network. Data protection in data transit refers to the protection of data while it is traveling from network to network or being transferred from a local storage to a cloud storage. Whether data is moving, effective data protection measures for in-transit data are critical, as data is often regarded as less secure while in motion. Basically, what is that trying to tell us? Meaning, while data is being transmitted from one network to the other network, it is called data in transit. That means from the data moving from one particular network, moving to another network, or from one computer to another computer, that is a data transit. And while this data transit is in motion, it's just like traveling from Arizona down to New Jersey. That is a journey, that is a transit. You have to be secured in the transit. In case of any accident, you have to be insured. That is what data in transit is, and it is important to have data protection while you're using data in transit, so that way it's going to block any outsider from hijacking your data while it's in transit. The second one is data at rest. What is data at rest? Data at rest is information that is not actively traveling from one device to another device or network to another network, unlike the data in transit, such as information saved on hard drive, laptop, flash drive, or archived, stored in another manner. The goal of data security at rest is to preserve inactive data stored on any device or network. Generally, data at rest is the safest and most secure state for data. It allows for the use of strong encryption without having to worry about compromising security for a transfer and more effective encryption protocols. Still, hackers often consider data at rest to be a valuable target, mostly due to its size. After all, the majority of companies and individuals do not transfer massive volumes of data online because of the time, bandwidth required. Now, what is this trying to tell us? Meaning that data at rest is a kind of information you store on your flash drive you can burn it on a CD, you can save it on a hard disk, or even save it on your PC. Basically, these are data that are not being transmitted, basically just sitting down in a safe place, and it's only being accessed by authorized person. Meaning, if your data is saved in your flash drive or your hard disk, no outsider can have access to it. Only you or whoever is close to you that have access to the flash drive or the hard disk can be able to make use of the data at rest. Like it said here, most of these hackers are most times interested in that data at rest, because they believe that if a document is that big or heavy in terms of the size, that means it's something really sensitive and it's something really going to worth their while. So most of the time, they're always interested in data at rest. Moving forward, what is data in use? When a person uses data, whether online or offline, it is said to be in use. It isn't just humans. If any app or software has access to data while it's operating, even if it's in the background, it's still deemed in use. When it comes to storage, data can be kept locally on your device, externally on the storage device, or remotely on the server that may or may not be yours, such as when browsing images using Google search engine. The multiple states of data tend to overlap when data is in use. It is relatively secure if you are viewing files directly on your device. Someone will need to either personally or remotely access your device to have access to the same content, or infect it with spyware that leaks the file to them. When you access data through the internet, such as receiving text, messages, or files via a messaging app or email, the data is considered in use and in motion. If the data flow isn't encrypted, hackers may be able to intercept it. For a big example is WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a big example of data in use. Sending message forth and back is an example of data in use. And if it's not well encrypted, then it can give access to an outsider to get the information and stuff. So that is a very big example of data in use. Now, moving forward, how to keep data safe. How to keep data safe. It is important not to use the three data states, that is data in use, in transit, and at rest. In order to secure the data, there are some basic ways to keep it secure, such as encryption, keeping off the internet when possible, using VPN, and keeping up with the trends. Let me discuss encryption. What is encryption? Encryption is necessary whether you're storing your data online or offline. For the greatest results, employ a combination of RSA and ES systematic encryption. Consider switching to apps that uses end-to-end encryption for data in transit. That way, even when your data is at most vulnerable, it is encrypted and protected. Stick to websites that employ SSL certificates, resulting in HTTPS in the URL when it comes to data in use, especially when you're online. Second one, keeping off the internet when possible. Unless you have a clear target on your data, it is unlikely that anyone will go to the trouble of hacking encrypted cloud storage or a device to retrieve it. While some cloud storage services, both free and commercial, claim to provide security and privacy, it is advisable to buy your own external hard drives and back it up. Meaning, if you have a very sensitive data in which it's very, very sensitive and personal, it is better to keep it in your hard drive or flash drive or burn it on a disk instead of using services such as iCloud, Google Docs, and Google Storage and all, and other different type of cloud storages. Not like they're not good, not like they don't provide the security, but it's always better to be safe than sorry, in terms that they are still on the server and it can be hacked at any time. Although they provide, they tend to provide security and privacy, but the best advice is, if you have a very sensitive data, it is advisable to keep it on an external hard drive, or you back it up on your flash drive, or whatever means of hard drive or hard copy you can get. Also, using a VPN, another option to ensure your privacy and security, excuse me, when exchanging data over the internet, is to use a reliable VPN. VPN work by creating an encrypted channel between you and web servers on the open internet. VPN can take care of the rest, preventing dangerous persons and ISP providers from tracking and stealing your browsing data, as long as the website you are visiting is secure. VPN is really necessary. You can always download VPN, and whenever you're trying to browse on the internet, the VPN is on. It's going to be like an intermediary between what you're doing and the internet. That way, stopping all hackers and anybody from getting through your data. Keeping up with trend. Older isn't better when it comes to cybersecurity. Virus, malware, hacking tactics are always changing and growing more sophisticated, because the most constant thing in this life is change. And the more people grow, the wiser they become. Once they come with this kind of virus and it's an antivirus, they come up with another thing. So every day new things just keep popping up. So it's always better to always keep up to date. It's always nice to always keep things updated, be updated yourself, so you can get the new antivirus, the new malware, get to know different tactics, because it keeps growing every day. It's constantly changing. You must keep up to date with the latest security concerns, data security procedures, and precautions in order to keep your data secure, regardless of its state or location. So that brings an end to today's assignment. And like I said earlier, my name is Omofela Mustafa Adekoya, and I'm a student of Grand Canyon University. Thank you so much for watching.